Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to use the coolest makeup ever. We have makeup from China. This is by Florasis Beauty, and these are some of the most beautiful products I've ever seen in my whole life, and they're really functional. Like, we did this whole look with them. There's also a blush, and I'm just really excited because I've always wanted to try this brand, and then I did a collaboration with them this week, which is like, pinch me, dream come true, because I've just always wanted to try it. And so this video has nothing to do with the collaboration. This is just me using it because I'm telling you, I've always wanted it. One of the shadows broke. I'll show you more in depth in the video. And yeah, we're gonna do this look. We wanna do like sexy Valentine's Day, not like chuggy, like pink glitter, cut creases. You know, like, I understand that that is Valentine's Day themed and it's fun to play with color, but like when I was thinking about makeup that I would actually wear for Valentine's Day, I just wouldn't wear pink and red. So this is what we're doing to make it realistic. I'm doing a collaboration with Rose Forever. These are beautiful roses that last 1 year. I love that they have actually like an acrylic top. Not all of them come in an acrylic box. You can pick. Some of them come in like the container like that. But I love this because I'm literally going to keep my new Florasis makeup in it. I was thinking about what I would put in here, and then I realized in the video that I'll put my new keepsakes here. I love a trinket and I love a beautiful thing. So yeah, if you're interested, there's a $25 off code in my bio if you have somebody that you want to gift for Valentine's Day, or if you want to gift yourself. I'm a believer in gifting yourself. So yeah, also today we're gonna be talking about the church services and the chapel services that we had at the School for Troubled Girls and some of the absolutely unhinged things that took place at them. When I'm telling you guys, like, there was exorcisms and there was like famous evangelists coming in all the time and screaming fire and hitting us on the head and stuff. So if you want to hear like some crazy stories and get this makeup look with me, then just keep watching. So now let's get into it. I am gonna do story time today, but I also have the most beautiful makeup that I've ever seen in my whole entire life, but I'm just gonna show you right now. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this brand, but it's called Florasis, and they make some of the most stunning makeup that I've ever seen in my entire life. So whenever I first discovered this brand, I was just freaking dying over it, but I never got around to ordering it. And then recently they did offer a collaboration with me, which is not on YouTube. This is like totally separate from that. And I just have to show you, and I have to use it one more time before I put it on display. Look how beautiful these shadows are. One did come a little bit cracked, and these products come all the way from China. So I think just in transit, it was packaged like really well in bubble wrap, but it still did just crack. So I just have to be careful because I don't want it to crack anymore. It's so gorgeous. I'm gonna keep it, I think, like under the glass part of my vanity because you can see right into it, and I just think it's the prettiest freaking thing that I've ever seen in my whole life. We're gonna use the lipstick and the blush as well. The blush is like more basic, so I'll just give you a quick look at that. It's really just simple. It actually looks kind of like Pat McGrath, and it is a pretty blush, but it's not quite as special as the lipstick and the Fan eyeshadow palette. So there's a little key on the lipstick, and you press it, and then your lipstick comes out the other end. I've never seen a case so cute. And also, wait till you see this. This has some beautiful engraving on it. Literally, there's like people. I hope that the camera's getting this because we're a little bit far away, but just look how beautiful. I might put in some B-roll of these products so you can see. I've just never seen anything like it, and I am kind of a makeup collector, and this is like, I think, the most special thing to have ever been added to my collection of makeup. And it does, like, the thing that's crazy about it is even though it's so beautiful, it's extremely functional. So we are gonna do a look with these makeup items, and this is gonna be like a Valentine's Day look, but it's not gonna be like your typical pink and red, because I don't know like who actually wears that. I know that there's some people who will, but like for me, when I go out with my boyfriend, or like when I was dating, like I wanna look hot. I don't wanna look like colorful and distracting. And that is not a knock. I do love color, but like I don't wanna be colorful on like a date night, you know? I just don't want to. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna create like a siren kind of eye. And really, I can't wait, because this is probably gonna be, gonna be the second time that I use this palette, and probably the last time, because I don't wanna mess up the engraving. So this is really a special video today. So beautiful. And as far as the subject of what we're going to talk about, I think that it's time that we should talk about church and chapel services that we had at the School for Troubled Girls. We went to church a lot. We went to church more than we did anything. We went 3 times a week, and then we had one home church service every Friday. And it got weird, so I'm kind of excited to talk about it, because it's just like a weird, like, all-around experience. It was very very theatrical, and they would try to heal people, and they would bring in televangelists, and they had this one guy who came in one day who said he was a mind reader. So that's what we'll talk about today. I hadn't decided until literally this moment. So let's just jump right into it. We're gonna start with our eye makeup. I already have a base on today because I did a different video with this stuff earlier, and then I took off my eye makeup so that I can show you guys this. So yeah, let's just jump right in. We're gonna focus on like these warmer tones because I didn't use them yet. Like I barely used them, I should say. So I know that you're probably curious about that shade, but I don't know if I'm going to use it because my last look completely centered around that, and you'll see that anyway in shorts. So we'll probably not use that one. I'm just going to use this orangey color and just go all over my lid. Yeah, so basically when we were at the School for Troubled Girls, like I said, we went to church 3 times a week, and we went to a Pentecostal church. A lot of the time people in the comments asked me the denomination, and it was like Pentecostal. The pastor of our church would like make fun of like other denominations of Christians. So it's like so funny because like all Christians are supposed to be the same, but he would like roast like Baptists, for example. Like in the South, there's a lot of Baptist churches, and he would always make fun of them. And he would say that they're not like spiritual enough, essentially, and that they're not excited enough. So at our church, like you were really encouraged to like really get excited, like to the next level. They would like lay people out in the spirit, and they would speak in tongues. And there was always this woman who would like get a message from God, and she would like shout it in the middle, sometimes in the beginning, in the middle, or in the end of a service. She would like shout out like words essentially in a different language, and then somebody, like usually the pastor, oh no, see that bit that I told you guys about fell out. I know you can repress it, but these shadows are just really delicate, and I'm afraid to repress it. I'm just gonna put it to the side because it keeps falling out. Okay, so like I was saying, the pastor would like translate it or whatever, and it would just be like, it would usually coincidentally be very on par with whatever the pastor was saying to begin with. So like I really do believe, I believe that these people believe that it's real, and that they think that like these words are coming from the Holy Spirit. But what I believe about it is that like I believe that they feel drawn to say the things that they're saying, but I don't believe that like it's the voice of God, you know? Like I think like when you're in a super religious, like culty kind of church like that, I think you believe that like your intrusive thoughts are the Holy Spirit. And I've talked about this in shorts before, and it's how I kind of like, it's how I kind of trace back to like what I used to believe. A lot of it was like intrusive thoughts, and I couldn't drown out the thoughts, so I thought they were the Holy Spirit, when in reality it's just like anxiety or like just thoughts coming in your head for no reason. Like you learn, like most people have voices inside of their heads, and I think like religion kind of capitalizes on that. Like they're like, oh yeah, those voices are the Holy Spirit, when really it's just your own thoughts. So yeah, sometimes it would be really frustrating because on parent weekends, our parents had to come to church with us. Like it was mandatory. So if you had parents who weren't very religious, they would have to sit through like a 2-hour sermon on Sunday morning. And it would be really frustrating because the pastor of that church was quite performative. So whenever all our parents came, he like kicked it in extra, and he would like call people to get saved, you know, like as usual, but like the altar calls would go on like forever, and he wouldn't dismiss us. And we had to be, before we could leave church with our parents and go off campus for only 4 hours, the pastor had to dismiss us, so we weren't allowed to just leave. So sometimes he would take like 2 hours up of our family visit, just because he personally wanted to perform. Like I think a lot of times evangelists in particular, they want to, oh actually let's do the gold. Actually, they want to perform, and they are performers. So it would be really, really annoying. And he also, the same pastor, I've said this in my shorts too, but the same pastor would always like predict when Jesus was coming back. And I thought that was pretty interesting, because he would always say, and it scared me half to death, he would always say that he thinks Jesus is coming back this year. And I used to think, oh my God, okay, well, good thing I'm here, because I definitely don't want to be at home when Jesus comes back, because I'll probably be like sinning, you know, with my friends, you know, like doing whatever got me to this point pretty much. And yeah, and then the next year came and it didn't happen. And I'm sure that he's going to be the pastor of that church like until he passes away. So I'm sure he still is. But I just wonder like what he's saying about that. Like I wonder how he's covering his tracks, or if he's just continuing to say that Jesus is coming maybe this year instead, maybe this year, maybe this year, maybe next year. Oh, he's not ready yet, but he's coming soon. He was like a master at fear-mongering. He was always stomping around and screaming about hell. He was very charismatic, and everybody in the front row would go, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, like it was a wild place. These shadows are so beautiful. I mean, I just can't even. This one is kind of like a glittery topper, so I'm going to put this like in the center of the lid and move on to liner maybe. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Oh, and I have some really cool eyeliners to show you guys too. I think I want everything to be like warm and brown today. So I'm going to use this brown eyeliner from LimeCrime. I did a little work with them this month, and these are lovely. They're lovely. It's been a while since I've used an eyeliner that has like a brush tip, but oh my God, I love it. And then let's talk about the chapel services that we had like at home. So every Friday we would have chapel, and we actually wouldn't go to school in the time that we had chapel. I think we had chapel like after breakfast or something. So we would go to school for like half an hour or something, and then they would take us to chapel. And it was super weird that we were taken out of school to go to chapel, first of all. But also, the chapel services themselves were very weird, and they always use the opportunities to have chapels to like kind of reprimand us or scare us. We watched a lot of really scary, like kind of like fire and brimstone kind of teachings. Well, what they would do is like sometimes the director Bob would like preach, and sometimes he would like play a tape for us. And whenever they played tapes for us, they were like so scary. Like there was this one that was just like about this guy who quote unquote died and went to hell, and all of the scary things that he saw, like people being tortured and stuff like that. And then after that, we would always have like an altar service. Well, we would start with worship, then go into like the scary thing, and then have an altar service. And of course, like everybody who hadn't gotten saved yet would get saved in those services because they were so scary. I think that's what happened to me too. I got saved in a chapel service, and I did it because I was scared, and my little friend had just passed away from home, and I had just heard about it. So my friend Maddie, I talked about this in another video, and then I never uploaded it, and I deleted all the footage because I was really emotional about it. But my friend Maddie, she was this really cute, pretty girl that I went to school with, and she kind of was hanging around a bad crowd, and she ended up passing away. Actually, I wouldn't even chalk it up to her hanging out with a bad. Forget that I ever said that, because adult men harmed her and she passed because of them. So I don't know why I just said what I said. It was not her fault, because all kids, like all teenagers, especially in my town, got into a bit of trouble, like all of us, me included. So she ended up passing away. And then right after I heard about it, I got saved because I was afraid of dying and going to hell, because this just solidified, like she passed away and I'm in this like crazy cult, just solidified my fear of dying and going to HELL. So we had these crazy chapel services, and you guys, nobody's even gonna believe me, I feel like, but they would like have exorcisms. Like there was this girl, I'm not gonna say her name because I mean, like, it's probably not a fond memory for her. It's probably like quite a traumatic memory. But she was this tiny little cute girl. She was stubborn, and like she hadn't been following the rules. She'd been kind of messing stuff up. Like she just was who she was, and she wasn't like submitting to the program. And these are Lilly lashes, by the way. And they had an exorcism on her, and they were like screaming like, "Satan, get out." And it was one of the main staff members, the director's wife, and then I don't think the director was around, but like maybe one of the counselors, and they were like having an exorcism. And I was just thinking, like, how could this little girl, I'm sorry, but like this little girl is not demon possessed, and now for the rest of her life she has this memory of herself going through an exorcism. Like, what the hell? So many weird things happened in these chapel services. I'm going to tell you guys too in detail about the guy who was like a quote-unquote psychic. So it's really interesting because Christians don't, I think most Christians don't believe in psychics. And we were told that like witchcraft and stuff like that is bad, and like fortune tellers are bad. But because he was like a Christian psychic, it was okay, I guess. And his name was Dean Sykes. In one of my videos, I talked about him and I couldn't figure out his name. And then I found him on TikTok. And my life flashed before my eyes. I didn't interact with him in any way, but his name is Dean Sykes. And they said he was like a psychic, I guess. So he came and he put a chapel on for us, and he was like just calling people out. He's like, "There's 6 girls with EDs in the room." And he put his hand on my hand, which I actually did struggle with that. He put his hand on my head. I actually did struggle with that and I started crying. But later I realized it could have just been a lucky guess because I had just gotten there pretty much and I was very tiny. And also it was probably like my body language as well, because I was starting to kind of like believe all this stuff to be true. And only years later did I realize like, what the heck was that all about? Like, yes, I do struggle with this, but like surely this stranger couldn't just guess what the problem with me was. And then he also healed me, healed, like put his hand on, healed. And yeah, and I was crying because I was 15. It was fucking crazy. And for the record, it didn't heal me. I went on to struggle for many years with that subject. And it's not something I really talk about because it's not something that I want to give any attention to. Like, I just want to be healthy and well. And I think that I am, so I don't talk about that side of my life. And also, I guess it's like triggering for some people. But at the same time, this whole channel must be triggering for some people. So I guess that's just part of it or whatever. So yeah, so we'd have all these kind of crazy guest speakers and stuff. We had Steve Hill, and he was like a famous televangelist. And I talked about this in one of my shorts, and I said, I'll tell you who it is if you guess, but I didn't want to like explicitly say it because my shorts get a lot of views, and like the girl, like I went to school with his daughter, so I didn't really want her to see it and think I was like gossiping about her, but I know that she'll never see my long form content, like, so I feel like this is a safe place to tell secrets or things that I don't want to air out like on my short format, because short format like YouTube shorts, it just gets so many more views. So yeah, it was Steve Hill, and then he had two services for us. One was at our center, and then we also went to a church service that he led. And yeah, it was just like the same old thing that you would expect from Steve Hill, just fire, 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 and knocking people down in the spirit. And I went down, and he hits you hard, and there's two men behind you, so of course you fall down. Like a grown man, and then like churchgoers and like us little girls, like when somebody says fire and they push you, and there's two men, the two men, I don't know how familiar you guys are with like being slain in the spirit or whatever, because it's not a normal thing, but some of you guys know what I'm talking about and some of you don't. But what happens is a pastor or a church leader or like a charismatic guest will have like an altar service, and they'll play music and you'll sing the songs. And if you want like prayer or whatever, then you go down to the front and you stand there. And while the guy is traveling around the room, like the pastor or whoever, he puts his hands on you and yells something, says something, prays for you, and then two guys follow him around to catch you. So it's kind of hard to tell, especially like it's kind of hard to tell like just by watching it if people are actually falling down or not. But I will say that they touch you with such force that yes, you do fall backwards, and there's two people behind you and you know that they are, so it's kind of just like a trust fall. And it's so weird because this would never happen to me in my normal life. But whatever. Like, I guess because I don't go to church either, so yeah, of course it would never happen. I think I want to line my waterline. I have this Tarte Duo thing, Quick Stick, Matte Tan and Brown, and I'm gonna go underneath my eye with the tan side, and then I'm gonna do the waterline with the brown. I want everything to be brown today because I think it's like soft and pretty, and I've been wearing brown eyeliner for days now, and I think I almost like it more than black. I mean, black is more impactful, so I would still choose it on certain days, but this has been fun too. Oh my gosh, I know what I have to tell you guys. This is one of the most embarrassing parts of the program, was doing something called drama. And every dorm had a different time that they did drama because we couldn't all be together. There's like 60 to 80 students at all times at the program, but you were only allowed to be around and to talk to your own dorm. So like you and 19 other girls, 20 total. And there was something called drama, and basically it was like pre-choreographed moves that they wanted us to like do in front of crowds and stuff. So every week we had to practice so that we could be our little performing selves for churches and stuff. And some girls like really liked to dance, so they really were into drama. Sometimes you just wanted attention, so you'd be like glad to be picked or something because we were so attention starved. But it was the nerdiest thing ever. They would be like, they played this song called like The Precious Lamb of God, and there was like, it was like Napoleon Dynamite. Like we had to go like, the precious Lamb of God. Like I remember a little bit of it. Oh my God, it makes me want to puke. But yeah, so we'd be doing that. I'm gonna take some of that gold and put it under my eye, by the way. Yeah, so we'd be doing that in front of crowds, in front of our church, at schools. At schools, it was particularly embarrassing. They would take us around and parade us and kind of like use us to tell high schoolers, like do like a DARE program thing, which I also was in. And then they would also have like a few of us who were like good students. We would like go around to high schools and stuff and like tell our story. And they never let me tell my story because the one day that I did tell it, I leaked some stuff about my family, and like my family was like affiliated with them, and they didn't like that. So they didn't like that, like it was my dad. My dad caused me a lot of trauma, and they didn't like that I was talking about it. So they never let me share my story after that. And that just goes to show like how they hide things in the church. Like I can't even imagine, like some of the girls were in the program because of stuff that happened to them at their churches. Like I don't want to say it because I don't want to get in any YouTube trouble, but like think about the worst thing that could happen in a church that was happening to some of these girls. And then when the girls acted out from essentially being assaulted, they were brought into the program and further punished. I'm gonna use a little of this pink blush. I'm gonna use it under my eye because I think it would create a cute rosy glow. I don't even know how I feel about this eye makeup. I think I like it. It's honestly just simple. I think I'll try to put like some liquid glitter or something maybe on top of it, or maybe that's too much, I don't know. Okay, so about church, we also went to Wednesday night services, and we went to youth group, but we weren't allowed to talk with the kids from youth group, so we sat in our own section that they made every Wednesday just for us. We had our own little section, and we had to sit in it. We couldn't look at the boys, we couldn't smile. Even if the girls talked to us, we were trained to like keep it really simple, like barely respond. We could respond to the girls if they spoke to us, but we couldn't get into detail. And if girls came over and loitered for a while, the staff would come and just basically kind of like intimidate them away from us. They didn't really want us engaging with the church kids because I don't know, they didn't want us engaging with anyone. I'm gonna use a little of this for highlighter too. So we went to Wednesday night church, but if you lost your privileges, which I've talked about before, going on loss of privileges, you aren't allowed to talk to your family for a month. You aren't allowed to receive mail, call home, and you also have to go to adult church, and you're not allowed to have dessert at church. So church was one of the few times, Wednesday night church was one of the few times when we got really good food. So the church would host us, and we would get really good food, and we would get dessert. And on a regular night, like at home, we didn't get dessert, obviously. Like, we did every once in a while for a special occasion, but like sweets and stuff were like really, really highly coveted. So to punish us when we were on loss of privileges, they would take away like any small joy, which had a lot to do with food and stuff, because we loved food and we wanted to eat every chance that we got, because when you're locked up and you can't like decide when you eat and stuff, you get like food obsessed. So we were also food obsessed, so they would take that away. So yeah, so when you got on loss of privileges, you wouldn't be allowed to eat dessert. You could eat dinner, of course, but you couldn't eat dessert, and then you'd had to go to adult church. And adult church on Wednesday night is really boring because the regular pastor who like shoots people down, he's not usually there. And he made the church services a lot more interesting, to be honest. Like, I gotta give him that. Like, he really made it interesting. Like, you could really listen, because he was just always running around, stomping his feet. Like, he was doing the most. His name was Pastor Danner, and I tried Googling him and trying to find the church that we went to online, but I couldn't find it. Now, you guys, I have this Florasis lipstick, and ooh, I'm gonna put it on for you, but I don't know if it's the color that I really want to commit to for this look, but let's just try it. We'll put it on with a lip liner. Just use this ColourPop one. Really, truthfully, I want a pink lip, but I also want to show you guys this, so I'll just show it to you and then I'll put on a pink lip. So it is matte. So I'm gonna take my gloss off so that you can see the real finish. And this is probably gonna be the second and only time that I ever use this lipstick too, because this is a collector's item. It's too beautiful to use, and like this is gonna be the last time. Actually, I probably will wear this. This is pretty. It's like, it's a matte texture, but it's really light, if that makes sense. Like, it's thin, the formula, it's like airy. Okay, say goodbye to this forever. I'm never wearing this again. It's too beautiful. Every time I use them, I like put them back there because I'm scared to like drop it, or God forbid another shadow in here breaks. Oh my God. I just realized I could put them in the Rose Forever box. Let's see if it fits. Oh my gosh. It fits in my box. Let's put it in. Okay. Oh. Here we go. That's where that makeup will live. So this was a bit of a quickie. I think this is it for the makeup. Let's just give a good brush to the hair. These are my Irresistible Me extensions, but I got them in a different length. I'll show you in depth next week and do another installation. If you liked the other ones, you're gonna like these too. I actually like these more than the other extensions I got. These are 4 inches shorter and they feel better on my head. So I got a second pair so that I can wear them more comfortably, because like they're gorgeous, but they were just a little too heavy on my head. But I also like the drama of the other ones, so I still wear them, but these I can wear like all night. Like, these are gonna be my Valentine's Day hairs. So yeah. Now onto this lip. I'm not gonna keep this lip on, but I am glad that I showed you. So let's change the lip and then we'll call it quits. So if I were really truly going out with my boyfriend for Valentine's, I would wear Charlotte Tilbury Foxy Brown. Well, there's a few things that I would wear, or ColourPop Ashton, or Makeup Forever Endless Taupe, or no, Total Taupe. Foxy Brown is just so pretty though. And then any nude on top of it. So I'm gonna wear Bosom Friend, but this no longer exists. So a close comparison would be MAC Myth, but it's still not exactly the same. And they changed Myth. Myth used to be lighter, and now it's like darker and like a little too corally. Unless it's me that changed, but I don't think so. Until then, I'm gonna ride this puppy out. Yeah, see, to me, that looks way better than the Florasis. The Florasis is better for a different type of makeup look, but I'm wearing like tons of blush and tons of shadow. And when I go all shadowy like this, I like a light lip because it feels, to me, like it's less makeup-y. And my boyfriend, since this is a Valentine's look, my boyfriend, he can see makeup when it's colorful. If I wear this, he can't tell. But if I had a red lip on, he'd be like, he looks like a lot of makeup. And you know, he's supportive and everything, but like if I ask, he will tell me. And yeah, that's the problem with him, is he will really tell me. Sometimes he'll wait if I'm excited about something, but the truth will come out. Like when we met 5-ish years ago, I loved to wear this one pair of shoes, and I got in the car with him literally on our first date, and I was like, I love these shoes. Look at my shoes. Like, I had just got them. They were Vince platforms. And later, like a year and a half later, I had wrecked the shoes and I couldn't wear them anymore. And that's when he told me that he hated those shoes. He thought they looked like hospital shoes, like geriatric shoes. I still honestly like those shoes. I like Vince platforms. They're just cool, but I've moved on to Converse platforms. So anyway, this is a look. I hope you liked getting ready with me today. I hope you enjoyed hearing about a little church trauma. Let me know in the questions if there's anything specific that you'd like to hear about. Lately, I've been trying to change up my content style a little bit because I've gotten 2 comments of people saying that they're bored, and for some reason it lives in my brain. So I've also been posting a short every day because there's like a short sprint for February. Like YouTube is like asking creators to like post every day. So if you've been seeing a little bit of different content from me, it's not because anything is happening to the story times. The story times will always be talked about, but I'm just also doing like a bunch of beauty reviews and whatnot because I'm realizing that I feel sometimes I feel a little bit pigeonholed. Like, people like just want to hear the stories, and then sometimes I don't feel like talking about the stories. But I know like the real ones who watch the long form, like I know you guys will stick with me, so I appreciate you for that. And yeah, I love all your comments. I read them every day and they are so sweet. Love you guys dearly. I'm gonna try to host a giveaway soon, probably once I hit 200K, but I'm also kind of trying to collect things to give away. So I don't know, like hopefully I'll get some stuff, or I'll go to the beauty supply or something. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thanks for getting ready with me and for looking at all this cool stuff today, like the flowers and the makeup. Oh my God, let's take these out again. Like, pretty things just make me happy. Okay, let's put it back. Okay, you guys, thanks again, and I'll see you for the next one.